I wanted to talk about these charges that were dropped in this Diddy case really quick because you guys know today is closing arguments for both sides. And so I wanted to talk about these charges that were dropped because I see people, a lot of people making videos on this, and a lot of them, in my opinion, got it wrong. Okay. And I talked about this yesterday briefly. I guess I just assumed that a lot of people will understand how it go, but even some of the people that is reporting on this, not reporting it right. And on top of that, I'm not gonna say too much because none of us are lawyers. We're learning as we go, and I definitely have to admit that I'm learning as I go. And yeah, so we're not gonna always get it right. Not even me. Because that's another thing. A lot of people, they sit here and make these videos like they done passed the bar exam and some more stuff. And honey, we all learning. Unless you pass that and you a lawyer, you don't know everything. So anywho, yesterday when I talked about the drop charges, I was trying to explain to you guys, or at least I thought I was, that the charges that were dropped were attempted charges. And I told you guys that the regular charges are still there. So what I did was put this together. Yeah, y'all made me put together a little board so I can explain to y'all, or y'all can easily see, because some of y'all might be visual learners or visual thinkers. So I'm like, okay, maybe if I put it together, well, and have it broken down, they can understand how it's going. So the racketeering, which is the RICO, there are several charges under that RICO, okay? And under that RICO is the X trafficking, the forced labor, the kidnapping, bribery, the substance trafficking, and the witness tampering, okay? And under that RICO, there was, or those charges, it was the attempted charges, okay? So the only thing that was removed was the attempted charges. Well, only a few of them. The attempted kidnapping, the attempted arson, and the aiding and abetting. You guys see it. I can't say all the words, but you see it. So those are the things that was removed, but it still does not remove the regular kidnapping. It does not remove the regular X trafficking. The only thing that was, kind of confusing, and I had to do some digging for because it seemed like a lot of people was getting this part wrong, was the arson. And there are people reporting that because for the arson, it was arson, attempt arson, conspiracy to commit arson, and aiding and abetting of arson, okay? So there's 4 different parts for most of the charges, right? So because it says attempted arson was removed, a lot of people just thought that the other conspiracy, aid, and abetting arson was still going to be on there. Even me, if you guys remember in the video that I made yesterday, I also was saying I have to look into the arson because I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go with the arson. So I did some digging again and went back over paperwork that I had already briefly looked at, and I'm like, okay, hold on, I missed something. So I went more into depth, and I'm going to show you guys this really quick so you guys can see. This here is the instructions for the charges that was submitted to the judge from the prosecutors. And so this is basically the prosecutors asking the judge to instruct the jury on the charges, and they asking for him to do it a certain way. So they breaking down how they would like the judge to instruct the jury on the charges, so that they can understand how to basically come up with a decision for every charge. So on this jury instruction from the prosecutors, they did not include the arson, which leads me to believe, because if you see here, let me see if I can see it because I don't got my glasses, but I'm gonna try to see if I can read some of it. It say, the government understands the court desire to streamline instructions. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline those instructions. Specifically, the government has removed instructions from the charge relating to attempted kidnapping under the California law and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting X trafficking. The government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liability, so instructions are no longer necessary. And when I went through the document, and let me see if I can scroll. Let me see if I can get to it. Hold on, yeah. Okay, so I'm scrolling through, and I went through it. The arson is not here. Unless they do an updated instruction to submit to the judge between today and tomorrow or whenever. I'm sure it should have been in there today if they was gonna do it, because the jury might go into deliberation later on, or by in the morning, so no telling. But it's not here. So they did not submit anything for the arson, and in the beginning of it, they said they removed the attempt arson, which means more than likely the arson is not going to be brought up at all. Period. Because if it was, it would be in the instructions for all the all the charges that's listed in this document. And it's not there. So there are people still saying the arson still is on his charges. From what it's looking like, the arson is not there. Because if it was, they would have needed to include that. They just can't come along now after telling the judge they're not going to use arson, and then they removed it from the paperwork, and then show up in court and just start talking about it after they had already said they wasn't. They have to let the judge know everything that they plan to do in court. So that's not how it works. From what I'm getting, that's not how it works. Everything that they do, everything that they need, everything that they want, they have to run it by the judge first. So it's not included in this jury instructions. So I do not believe that it will be used at all. Can they bring it back up? They can. They could submit more paperwork sometime today and add it back to the jury instructions, but that don't make sense, because closing arguments is today, and they would use it in their closing arguments, and that's what you would assume. And if they're going to be using it in their closing arguments, it should have been in the jury instructions. And this is the updated jury, like this is the most current. This was day before yesterday. This is the most current jury instruction that letter that they sent to the judge. So again, unless they submit something else this morning really quick or something like that, more than likely the arson will not be included. So they more than likely will not be talking about Kid Cudi in their closing arguments. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that can keep them from talking about Kid Cudi, but why would they focus on Kid Cudi if they're not even going to include that charge? Why would they waste time talking about that in the closing arguments? So that's more than likely not going to happen. And I just wanted to point that out, because there's people still saying that the arson, the conspiracy, and aiding and abetting arson still stand, and it's not in this paperwork. It's not. And as you guys can see, they told the judge that they are removing it. Now, they did specifically say attempted. And, so it do make you wonder, because they removed attempt kidnapping, but the regular kidnapping is still there. So it make you wonder, is the regular arson still there? But it's not here. It's not included in their instructions, but everything else is. Okay, so let me go back to this. I wanted to just show you guys this so you can really understand how it works. Diddy is not getting any leniency. So them dropping charges was literally only the attempted charges, because they want to simplify it for the jury. And also, as I explained yesterday, I believe they did that so that the defense wouldn't have a leg to stand on when it comes to the attempted charges, to say, oh, well, it was no proof. Or because if it was proof, it wouldn't be attempted. Okay? So the defense would, they will rely on that, in my opinion. The attempted charge, it wasn't no real proof of that. How they know that that's what he was going to do? And, the people that testified, because we know that, I don't care what y'all say, throughout this trial, some of the testimony was very questionable. I'm not going to lie. From my perspective, some of the people that was testifying, their testimony was questionable in certain parts, because it's like, come on, man, okay? And the jury could be looking at it that same way. And so what the prosecutors did was remove everything that they felt the defense would be able to lean on throughout their closing statements. They trying to trap them up, okay? Okay, so as you can see, I put in yellow each charge so you guys can understand. So charge 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is 5 total charges. The worst charge is the RICO, which is number 1, that has a lot of charges listed under that RICO. So that's why I make it so bad. It's not just one charge like count 2. If you look at number 2 is count 2, which is the trafficking of Cassie Ventura. You know what I'm saying? With the racketeering, there are several things under the racketeering RICO which can It's literally for all the people that is involved. That's what the RICO is for. The counts or the charges 2 through 5 is specifically for Jane Doe and Cassie. Okay, the RICO is specifically for everything that he's done, and no matter who he did it to, or who was involved, or who was co-defendants, I mean co-conspirators or whatever. It don't matter. Everybody who testified, that's what the RICO is for. Okay, so it covers everything that everybody said. Okay, so I'm hoping that it makes sense to you guys. I don't know if I'm good at explaining stuff, but I think I be trying. So yeah, I'm hoping you guys get it. The only thing that was removed was the attempted charges. It did not matter. I told y'all that yesterday. I said it did not matter. They really didn't need it. So I don't even know why they included it. Like I said, I feel like they did that on purpose to sabotage the defense. Which, I mean, I really don't care, because at the end of the day, I don't even know how they're going to get out of these charges. How are you going to get out of it? How are they going to find him not guilty of, I'm going to say everything. Everything, because the testimony that was given throughout this trial, it kind of seemed like everything was proven. The trafficking, the forced labor. Look at how many people said that he used to make them stay there days and work. They couldn't go to sleep. Like Don Richard, what's her name? Capricorn Clark, honey. I got a whole board, I told y'all the other day, on my wall with everybody who testified on that board. Like, honey, I had to buy a board because it's too many people. And yeah, like almost all them people talk about how he overworked them and stuff like that. The kidnapping, that was Capricorn Clark. The bribery, the man from the hotel, the security worker, he talked about how Diddy paid them $100,000. The substance trafficking, they just had his mural up there testifying a couple days ago. Everybody talked about how he was doing the different substances in different states and things like that. Yeah, so he out of there. Not even just different states. Internationally, he was flying people out for all type of stuff, honey. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it ain't looking good for him. As I told y'all yesterday, it's not looking good. Today is closing arguments for both sides. Just to give you guys a quick idea, in case you don't know, usually the prosecutors go first, then the defense go after, and then the prosecutors are given a chance to do a rebuttal at the end. So it's prosecutors, defense, prosecutors. So yeah, we're gonna wait to see how that go. Hopefully we can get some clear commentary from what's going on in the courtroom today. And yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, because these people is like, it's like people all on YouTube going crazy and mad, and it don't make sense. But this is what I got from it. Like I said, none of us are lawyers, and I am learning as I go along. I don't know why people think it's a bad thing to say you're learning as you go, because that's obvious. You don't know everything, and we all make mistakes. But this is what I got from it after looking over the paperwork, and it's in plain sight that the arson is not there in the jury instructions from the prosecutors. So they are not including the arson at all. And on top of that, I told you guys yesterday that all the other charges are still there. They did not remove a charge. They basically just removed the parts that didn't matter, which is the attempted, okay? Just like the aiding and abetting. They don't need that for the X trafficking, because if you look at the top, it still has X trafficking up there. Okay, so he's not winning. Just saying, he's not winning in them removing them charges. He's still faced with the same thing. So, honey, at this point, I am rambling. Tell me what y'all think in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later, because this is gonna be a long day. Bye, y'all.